U.S.-Mexico border in Southern California, a battle is being waged between those who risk everything to cross
I want to be with my son
and those whose job it is to stop them.
Got a runner. Show me your hand.
In the next 48 hours, Customs and Border Protection officers and agents will go undercover to stop a human smuggling ring.
You just made contact with that guy.
Discover a desperate woman hiding in a car.
bed hell.
And engage in a tense chase with a suspected guy.
What's running right there?
These are the Border Wars. 4 p.m., San Diego, California. Situated just 12 miles from the downtown area, Border Patrol headquarters. Here the ATV night shift clocks in. This unit works the border's front line against terrorism, narco-trafficking, illegal immigration, and cartel violence. Supervisory Border Patrol Agent George Gibson is one of tonight's team leaders.
My grandfather was a Border Patrol agent, so the Border Patrol's always been a part of my life. I've always known about it. I've always grown up on the border. I grew up in Yuma, Arizona. And I decided, that's a job for me.
5'6" mobile Gibson on ATVs.
Gibson partners with Supervisory Border Patrol Agent J.J. Carroll.
We actually were thinking last night to drop off stability. This is the best thing to do. Absolute best detail in the Border Patrol, because whoever or whatever crosses that border, we're going to catch on the ATVs. They just can't outrun us.
Agents here patrol this 66-mile stretch of the U.S.-Mexico border. From the Pacific beaches to the urban sprawl of San Diego and into the rugged brush.
It takes a lot of courage to be on ATVs because it's absolute certainty that you're going to get hurt.
Tonight, the ATV team is heading to the Channel, an area on the San Diego-Tijuana border that is challenging to patrol.
So we're going to head out to the border, we're going to go down the Channel and then head all the way west, see if we get anything, then after that we'll just wait for the ground sensors to hit.
2/3 of the border is protected by 2 parallel fences, 12 and 14 feet high. But even with this fortification, there are still areas at risk.
This is the most disgusting place on the border, and it's called the Channel. And if you look right here, you see the standing water. It's all sewage and toxins from companies and plants.
The Channel is like a riverbed. Built to prevent flooding, it was completed in 1979. Part of the channel is on U.S. territory, with a fence on one side and a guardrail on the other. If crossers can evade the agents, they can jump the fence in seconds.
This is a good area for them to cross. They'll pull their ladders up, they'll go on this fence, and just dump right into Las Americas Mall, try to blend in with the crowd.
Making the agent's job harder, the heroin addicts who congregate and shoot up on the Mexican side.
People who are intoxicated, whether it's with alcohol or with drugs, are one of our biggest problems. They're more likely to fight. They're not thinking very clearly.
Hey! You're lost.
¿Qué buscas? Pero mira, aquí enfrente de mí. O sea, es burro. Ahorita nos vamos.
Agents say many of these addicts are paid to distract them, while a different group tries to jump the fence at another location.
And the smuggling organization would give them cash to distract us. And once we're dealing with them, they'll try to push their group over. It's just a diversion. But they're there for a reason.
The area seems secure for now, but there is close to another 60 miles to patrol.
But once the night falls, that's when the game begins. We'd like to keep them all back, but we know the reality of it is this is a land opportunity, so they're going to come.
11 miles northwest of the channel lies the San Diego Bay. 8:30 a.m. Kelly Hill and Eric Zagowitz are locked in a high-speed chase.
About this speed, doing the best part of the project.
But this isn't a real chase. Once a week, these agents practice pursuit tactics and drills.
A lot of actions that take place in the right order, and the only way to do that is training, and just being trained.
The agent's biggest asset, their boat. The 39-foot Midnight Express is the most powerful law enforcement vessel in the world. With night vision, high-tech GPS, and marine surface radar.
Biggest thing for us, speed and surprise.
9:15 a.m. After the drill, Hill and Zagowitz head out on patrol.
Right now, the border is southbound here towards the U.S.-Mexico border.
The U.S.-Mexico border is just south of the San Diego Bay. It takes 5 agencies, including the Coast Guard and Harbor Police, to protect the neighboring 4,000 square nautical miles of open water. The agents are on the lookout for drug and human smugglers, but it's not easy.
Summer afternoon, you can count 150 to 200 boats going every which direction. So it's like eel in a sea of eels.
I know it's good for U.S. Customs. Where are you guys coming from?
Up with some boats. You got to be able to stop it, get on it, talk to the people, and sort out the situation.
You guys went into Mexico?
San Diego has a lot of recreational traffic. It goes back and forth into the Mexican territorial waters. Lots of fishermen, lots of good fishing spots.
What time did you guys take off this morning? 7:30. Any luck? Alright, Skipper, well, thanks for your time. Alright.
Agents often get leads from aircraft that survey the area for suspicious vessels. At 9:30 a.m., a tip comes in over the radio from high above.
The Coast Guard just called up regarding a possible target of interest, small white hull vessel.
The Coast Guard has identified a boat returning from Mexico at a suspiciously slow speed. Normally, fishermen are anxious to get to land quickly while their catch is still fresh. The agents plan to take this boat by surprise.
We're right on top of you before you know we're there.
Located 14 miles south of San Diego Bay is the San Ysidro port of entry. 9:45 a.m. This is the busiest border crossing in the world. Approximately 38,000 passenger vehicles and 21,000 pedestrians are processed here daily.
They say that 1 out of every 8 individuals that enters the United States through anywhere in the U.S. that comes in through air, sea, or land, 1 out of every 8 comes through here.
But while the port of entry is heavily patrolled, it's estimated that thousands of illegal immigrants slip through each year. Port of Entry Headquarters. CBP Enforcement Officer Sergio Guzman and a team of 14 plan an undercover sting.
Little person going the hole in pedestrian with Pedersen.
Their target, illegal immigrants and the human smuggling rings who help them cross the border.
Alright, this is the plan. We're gonna let one of the individuals walk out the port. As soon as they walk out, we're gonna start following them.
Guzman plans to follow someone crossing illegally through the pedestrian entryway, who may lead them to the guides or drivers from the smuggling network.
I mean, there is the bigger cartel, the alien smuggling organization. But then within that, there's smaller cells. They might be coming through pedestrian, they might be coming through the vehicle.
As border enforcement has increased, more and more illegal immigrants are hiring professionals to help them cross into the U.S. These counterfeiters and smugglers provide fake IDs and guides to a final destination. The average fee for these services, up to $3,000 a person.
But if they start walking up Santa Cedar Boulevard, which is a lot of times...
Today, Guzman wants to do more than arrest the illegal immigrant.
I mean, you do have room for 3 in the back, right?
He wants to take down the smuggling cell.
If they get on the trolley, you guys will get on the trolley with him or her. We want to know who's smuggling them through, who's getting paid, who might be taking the money back to Mexico. It's a big organization. It doesn't just stop with the person that's bringing them across. All right, anybody have any questions? We're good?
Officer Nico Gonzalez looks for someone who's been provided with stolen or altered documents. Usually a fake ID with a photo that doesn't quite match the face.
I'm gonna go out there, pretend that I'm checking documents, and I'm just gonna make a sign for them to know that, that's an imposter.
Hidden behind the two-way mirror, Al Loberena waits to trail the suspect.
Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and turn on green light please. Happy hunting.
Guzman stakes out the busy port exit. After 7 years with immigration and 7 with CBP, little surprises him.
14 years working at the border, he's seen it all. Now it's just a game of waiting for that imposter to come through.
Stand by. We might have one. Definitely we have one. We got a male, Hispanic.
Black jacket, black hair, dark complected.
Has blue jeans on, white and black shoes, and a collared shirt
Underneath.
About how old?
He says,
early 30s, mid 30s. He's out the door.
he's outside.
Alright, I still don't see him, though. Just make sure you might need to walk out there a little bit.
He's right in front of me. See the guy going for the trolley?
The man boards San Diego's mass transit trolley.
He got onto the trolley. He's in the last trolley. Right, you got the eye?
Okay, we're on the trolley right now.
2 officers confirm they're on the trolley with the suspect. The rest of the team waits in cars for the trolley to pull out. Though Guzman's been doing these stings for years, they're a gamble every time.
I mean, they're human beings. They do all kinds of weird things. You can't predict exactly what they're going to do.
We're moving on. Get ahead and take back.
10-4 guys, trolley is moving. Now we follow the trolley. Wait to see where it goes.
This trolley goes to the heart of downtown, 15 miles away.
Any movement at Iris Tech?
No movement here at Iris.
Alright, no movement at Iris. Next stop is Palm Avenue.
If If the officers lose the suspect, he could easily disappear into California's second largest city. And Guzman's team would have to start again from scratch. 10:45 a.m. Just outside San Diego Bay, Hill and Zegowitz stop a suspiciously slow-moving boat crossing from Mexico.
U.S. Customs! Your citizenship? U.S. citizen? How far into Mexico did you go today?
This particular individual, his story was very shaky. So we made a determination to bring the boat to the customs dock. But he said he was out fishing. Didn't really have any fish or anything like that.
We'll find it.
Hill checks out the bag.
Enough pipe, correct pipe. Appears to be meth. Yeah, it's a decent amount. They take a very zero tolerance approach to meth possession. It's a felony. Came across the border, so he's importing.
I found that black bag this morning when I was cleaning out, looking through some compartments, and I didn't want to go throwing it around at the marina, trash in the marina.
The suspect is handed over to harbor police. And Hill and Zegowitz head back out, looking for other suspicious vessels in the same area. Sergio Guzman and his undercover team are following a suspected illegal immigrant who is riding the trolley into the heart of San Diego.
Loper, where you at?
I'm at Palomar, near the freeway.
Alright, 10-4. I'm already in the parking lot at Palomar.
Hey guys, have you made contact with anyone on the train yet?
Al Loperena has been on the undercover team for 2 years and has worked dozens of stings.
Sometimes it seems like a futile chase, we're not really making a dent, but it starts at this level. It starts at the guide, he tells us who the guy that was picking up is, he tells us who he's working for. If we can take out a cell, that's just, 1, 2, 3, 4 less smugglers that we have working in our area of operation.
Okay, moving out.
He didn't get off at Palomar, so we're going to move on to 8th Street, Chula Vista.
Alright, copy all units, copy the guy got off on 8th Street.
Guzman's team spreads out across the large parking lot. Each watches a specific area. The exits, the tracks, and the suspect.
Okay, we're taking a seat. Yeah, we got eyeball.
The individual's sitting on a bench at the 8th Street trolley station right now. He's alone. Well, now we're just going to sit here and wait to see who picks this person up. Either by the smugglers or maybe a family member.
Who do we have inside the station in the parking lot?
COS is on the northbound side. We are right next to the train tracks and we get this side covered.
The officers hope the man will lead them to a human smuggling organization that brings illegal immigrants into American cities.
But fishing, gotta wait. Wait till you get the bite.
No more guys still here at the trolley. And then the end is on the phone.
The imposter's calling somebody.
Okay.
Before he just switched locations, is he standing on the platform now?
He just switching it off to the side of the bench there.
There we go. All right, guys. You just made contact with that hoodie guy.
Finally, a potential connection. The officers suspect the man in the hooded sweatshirt may be the smuggling guide. He appears to direct the suspect to another part of the parking lot.
Where are they going?
Stand over there. Let me go over here to talk with them.
Hoodie guy's on a cell phone also now, guys. The guy's got the auto trader out and he hasn't even looked at it, but
Very possibly that they could be waiting for another hand. That might be on the next trolley coming out this way.
So far, the officers have 5 people under surveillance, including a woman who also seems to get directions from the man in the hooded sweatshirt.
Hey, I've just met up with a female. Looks like they're looking at this suspect pretty hard.
Is he getting in?
Now he's walking down towards the, all of that, so that he's back on his head.
Guzman faces a choice. Does he apprehend the group now, or wait to see if more people show up, and possibly lose them? Suddenly, all the suspects are on the move. Maybe they've spotted the officers.
yeah, boy, bro, we're gonna take him down. That's him right there. Bájate al suelo! Policía, bájate al suelo! Right, thank you! Hey, come here! Show me your hands! Police!
As undercover officers take down several suspects, Officer Guzman thinks they may have hit pay dirt.
¿No de armas, nada?
The suspected illegal immigrant they've followed has led them to 4 other people. Guzman believes they are members of a smuggling cell. To find out, he and his men will try to get some confessions.
¿Cuál es tu nombre verdadero? ¿Lo vas a pensar?
No.
¿Cuál es tu nombre verdadero?
José.
¿José qué?
First, they question the suspected illegal immigrant.
Primero, ¿quién es el muchacho que venía contigo? Pues, ¿cuál?
El que estaba contigo.
Mira, nosotros te tenemos vigilando desde que estando acá. Take him back to the car.
The suspected illegal immigrant was seen walking away with this man.
I'm not doing nothing. Keep your hands up, just like I told you.
So now we gotta figure out, is this the actual smuggler or not?
Who's this guy right here?
Which one?
The one that you were talking to
were talking
coming from
to?
the trolley station.
I wasn't talking to nobody. If you had the cameras rolling, I wasn't talking to nobody.
I saw you with my own eyes.
Loperena notices that the man has an insignia associated with a local gang tattooed on his neck.
Who you with, bro?
Who am I with?
Logan Pintas or Logan Rested?
But this time I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
The potential gang connection is a good lead. Several San Diego gangs are known to be involved in narcotics and human smuggling.
Have you picked up illegals before? You smuggled aliens before?
Back in the days,
Back in the day?
Across the parking lot, officers detain the suspect in the hooded sweatshirt and 2 women they think are working with him.
Ante, has he said anything?
What's up?
Has he said anything?
He brought him.
I talked to him and said, you know what you're doing here, blah, blah, blah. And so he said, no, nothing.
Right.
And I told him we've been watching him, and he said, yeah, okay, I'm involved. I said, well, tell me exactly. He said, I got it.
But one piece of evidence is missing.
There's gotta be a car involved, we just haven't found it right now. Somebody was gonna pick him up in a vehicle.
Officers discover a set of car keys on the alleged gang member. It doesn't take them long to find his truck a block away.
Everything went well. Nobody got hurt. We'll see how many go to jail and how many get deported back to Mexico.
At the station, Loperena and Guzman connect the dots. The man who took the trolley was using smuggling services. This woman was using the same service. The man in the hooded sweatshirt admits he's a guide, along with this woman.
Just face the wall right there, right next to that one poster.
Guzman suspects the alleged gang member with the truck was going to drive the illegal immigrants to either a safe house or their final destination.
Yeah, we could sit here all day long and, just apprehend the people that are coming across illegally. But if we don't apprehend the people that are smuggling them across illegally, the people coming across illegally are never going to stop.
The sun goes down. Agent George Gibson and his team wait for radio calls from the Border Patrol Command Center. The command center keeps the border under surveillance 24/7 with lights, infrared cameras, and sensors that can even pick up the motion of footsteps at border areas. 6:40 p.m. Cameras observe two people suspiciously close to another area that's difficult to patrol. The coastal fence at Imperial Beach. Gibson and his team are sent to the scene. They find an older man and a younger woman on horseback who didn't respond to agents' calls to stop. The man appears to have been drinking.
Why didn't you stop when I told you to stop?
Where?
Back there on the beach, you guys looked at me and took off running.
Do you understand why we...
I did a mistake, sorry.
Where you from?
Oh! Did I get on me?
Where you from? No, don't get on your horse.
The couple, both legal in the U.S., was right at the water's edge, where the border fences stop.
This is my country, I love my country, I'm not freaking the law. I love my horse, I'm riding my horse. What's the problem?
Did you see the two fences there? So you went past that second fence, didn't you?
I did, we did.
How close to the fence did you get?
How close?
How close to the fence?
Very
Before
close.
you ran? Very close, okay.
Yeah. I was just speaking to them guys, they wanted to see the horses, and I was just speaking to them.
Why'd you do that?
I'm drunk.
Because you're drunk.
Nothing wrong.
But Gibson suspects the couple may have been trying to sneak a third person across the border. He heads to the fence in search of evidence.
With the action of the waves, the bars that they put get separated and they leave big enough gaps that people can walk right through them.
He spots the woman's footprints, but he also sees two sets of larger, probably male footprints.
There's another one right there, walking a little bit higher up the beach.
Gibson calls the command center to review the camera footage. Video playback supports his suspicion. There was a man walking between the horses, and when the ATV agents arrived, he ran back to Mexico.
What this is about is us trying to figure out what's going on.
The agents have their suspicions, but they have no way of knowing whether the man who escaped was a U.S. citizen or an illegal immigrant, so they have to let the couple go. And the night activity is heating up. The command center spots a potential smuggling attempt.
Agents are still past visual on, it looks like 4 bodies are back north. Looks like just a little bit east of the 30 drop. They're starting to proceed northbound. Alright, let's go.
port of entry, Officer Edric Saez reports for night shift duty.
I'm a member of the ETZ team, which is Anti-Terrorism and Contraband Enforcement Team.
As a member of this team, Saez is on the lookout for contraband and illegal documents.
People think that we're just harassing them most of the time. You open up the trunk. Being contraband enforcement team, we're very intrusive.
CBP has its own license plate readers. Cameras scan 38,000 rear and front plates daily, looking for stolen and suspicious vehicles. But ultimately, officers like Saez must rely on training and instinct.
Every officer has a bell, you know. When something's not right, that bell is going to ring and say something's wrong with this couple or whatever.
At 9:15, Officer Saez stops a couple in a rental car.
Well, the nervousness kind of caught my attention. They were avoiding eye contact. The driver was shaking, her hands were shaking. I requested the passenger to step out of the vehicle. As soon as I turned my side to the vehicle, that's when I noticed there was a body there.
It's a young woman, dressed in black to help her blend into the floor.
She was in fetal position. Her legs were wrapped around the front seat, her head and shoulders right underneath the dashboard of the vehicle.
The couple is handcuffed and brought inside for processing. Officers moved the car to secondary. The woman has been hidden for over an hour. Officers make sure she's okay. Next, officers will question the woman and find out who she is and why she's trying so hard to get across the border. 9:47 p.m. Mounted cameras have picked up 4 people scaling the border fence among the canyons east of San Diego.
Just a little bit east of the 30 drop.
Agents George Gibson and J.J. Carroll now have the difficult task of finding them in the dark.
When we have a group of people who gets into some deep brush, sometimes it can take hours to find these people.
3 canyons, they're trying to get in those canyons for cover and then get north. Get across the road, George?
Not that I know of. I don't think anyone's picked up any sign. He's checking over here.
If the agents are lucky, one of the suspects will trip a ground sensor. Otherwise, they'll have to rely on sounds and footprints.
An agent was driving southbound, found 2 signs for 2 Chuck Taylors. You know the old Converse? Okay, so we're going to go up this road right here. We're going to cut this sign, see if they actually came over, and loop back on this side, trying to get to the fingers down the north.
Carroll heads for the thick brush in the foothill.
He said the last time the sign they had was England or Easter. And when you're looking for sign, what you're looking for is patterns that don't look natural.
Gibson cuts across to the next hill. Now the agents are alone in the dark.
We have more of our assaults occur at night after dark. If someone feels like they can make an assault on an agent and get away with it, they're much more likely to do it.
Hey, what's the matter? Hey, what's going on right there? Got a runner. No
port of entry in San Diego, a young woman trying to enter the United States illegally has just been caught.
The passenger had her partially covered, and then the rubber body was up in a hollowed out.
CBP officer John Belonza interviews illegal immigrants at the port of entry.
And our job is to then process the case. Why is she in the vehicle? Why is she trying to come into the United States? Who is she really? What is her citizenship?
Belonza discovers this isn't the first time she's been caught crossing the border. Her parents brought her into the country illegally at a young age.
The first time I was trying to cross, when I was little, they got me.
Then her family tried again. This time they were successful.
I was 7. I was 7 years old and I'm 23 years old now.
Well, it looks like she'd been living in the United States all her life. It was crossing illegally, and then from there on she pretty much adapted to the life in the United States.
I'm married to my husband. He's a citizen and his whole family is too.
The woman says she and her husband have a 5-year-old son. The boy is also a U.S. citizen.
She got married to a U.S. citizen, thinking that she would get a visa to live in the United States.
But the only way to legally stay in the U.S. was to return to Mexico and apply for legal admission. 2 weeks ago, she says she traveled to the American consulate in Juarez, hoping to finally get a visa.
My lawyer told me they're only going to keep you 5 days. They're not going to give me a big punishment because I was here since I was 8.
She thought she could just go in there, get that visa, and then just come right back. And that's not what happened. Because she had attempted entry without any documents, she was denied that visa.
When you stay without paper, they give you a punishment, and my punishment was 3 years.
The young woman cannot legally enter the U.S. for up to 3 years, which means she cannot go home to see her son.
I have my son over there, and I do not want to leave him without me.
Desperate to get home, she's hired smugglers not once, but twice. Belonza can't help but sympathize with her dilemma.
I was getting emotional when she was telling me what's going on. I just can't even imagine.
East of the port of entry, in an area known as Russian Alley, a chase is on.
Right there!
Agent J.J. Carroll searches for a man suspected of jumping the border fence with 3 other people.
Hey guys, he's running right down the road. I was paralleling him on the east side, so he has to be in the thick stuff to my west. Just look at this. Think about running down that full speed ahead. I mean, you're going to kill yourself. This guy's been down here before. If he's not, then I'll be shocked that he's not the smuggler or an ex-felon. We had him running to about right here. Where did he go?
Carroll's team has the area surrounded. Some are on foot, some on ATVs.
He had to jump off the trail in here.
This is where you get the action on trails in the pitch dark and get in fights with bad felons. It's an amazing adrenaline rush.
There's his sign. But he ran in the brush, couldn't cut his sign, and ran down. Yeah, he was right there, man. Oh, they got him? 10-4, good job.
The suspect ran right into the agents waiting at the bottom of the hill.
That's about a mile and a half straight run down rocks. I don't know how he didn't kill himself.
JJ, I'm going back up on that. Make sure she's got 3 up there.
Nearby, Agent George Gibson apprehends 3 more people.
I started checking some of the usual places where they like to hide in the bushes, and sure enough, in one of those places I saw somebody's foot sticking out of the bush.
Agent Carroll quickly questions the men. He wants to see if he can make a case against the group's guide.
Yo soy el área de cruza la línea para libre. ¿Cuántos dólares le pagué este caliente? No me mientas, señor. Okay. Yo no soy novato de estos, bro. Pero dígame, ¿cuántos dólares? ¿1,000? ¿2,000? ¿2,100? ¿Cuántos? ¿Bien? ¿Tú? Hey. ¿Cuántos? Okay, they all 3 said they paid this guy $1,000 each to cross. My Spanish just flows out of me sometimes, scares me. When people ask me, do I understand their plight? Yeah, I understand their plight, but do I have compassion for that? My response to that is, why do they not use that effort to create a better life in Mexico?
¿Cuántas veces has tratado de brincar?
Yo vengo de Oaxaca.
¿Y cuánto dura uno para llegar a la frontera desde Oaxaca?
Son 3 días. La verdad yo conseguí dinero prestado. Ahorita estoy debiendo lo que es mi pasaje. Y lo que era hacerlo del pollo, que son 10,000 pesos. Queremos trabajar, porque allá La Plata, la verdad, no. Ahorita no sé. Y más allá en el pueblo. Batalla mucho para cruzar eso. Yo la verdad lo voy a seguir intentando hasta que cruce. Mi sueño es trabajar allá adentro.
The illegal immigrants said they paid to cross the border, but they never admitted they paid the alleged guide. Carroll's next step, see if he can get the man to confess. Just outside San Diego, Agent J.J. Carroll waits to question a man suspected of guiding a group of illegal immigrants across the border.
Hey, how much did you make off these 3 pollos? ¿Cuántos dólares? Claro, ¿cuántos dólares gané por condenado? ¿Cuántos? No. Un mío por persona. Él me dice, la verdad. Vamos a revisar las redes digitales y vamos a saber por seguro quién es Pollero.
Pollero is Mexican slang for human smuggling.
¿Por qué te estaban diciendo pollero?
Como hay gente que le pagan para pasar gente para acá, ellos piensan que yo soy una de esas gente, pues, que yo trabajo haciendo eso. Pero pues yo solamente quiero pasar a trabajar al otro lado. Es que yo tengo mi familia ya, tengo una esposa y tengo 2 niños.
J.J. Carroll's been patrolling this area for years. He loves the action, but he's cynical about the stories he hears.
We've been doing this for 12 years. It's always the same. It's like I can almost write it out as a script, everything he's going to say. Smuggling organizations pick these guys up. They offer them probably $50 a head.
Agents will take the 4 men back to the station for background checks. But without any solid evidence or a confession from the suspected guide, there's little they can do but send him back to Mexico with the others. Carroll suspects they'll meet again.
He'll go back, he'll hit as a foot guide on the database. He'll come back again with some more groups. We'll start popping them more, build a case, and that's just how we have to do it.
The suspect insists to the end that he's not a guide.
no ha sido ninguna otra vez, nada más es la primera vez. Allí nos conocemos y ellos también se iban a pasar y pues nos juntamos todos y venimos para acá. Sé que lo que queremos es trabajar honradamente, trabajar.
Officer John Belonza interviews an illegal immigrant who says she tried to cross the border to reunite with her son.
She's very desperate to come back in, so she hired smugglers.
Belonza listens carefully for details about how the smugglers work. A week ago, the woman bought an ID to cross the border through the pedestrian walkway.
This girl came to pick me up. She took me a picture with her cell phone. The other guy that she works with, he gave me a fake social security that I didn't know it was fake.
And she failed on that because I guess the social security that she presented looked obviously counterfeit.
The woman was sent back to Tijuana, but the smugglers tried to collect anyway.
They called my family saying they had me here to bring the money, but then I told them it wasn't true, so they did not give any money.
The smugglers offered to help her again, for a price.
We have to pay them $6,000.
This time they hid her in a car.
She was told to dress up in black so that she won't be seen. When you open the door on the passenger side, that's when everything went down.
Just relax your hand.
I know they're not gonna give me my visa anymore, but I wanna be with my son. My son, I love my son. I don't do anything. He asked for me. He's always saying, when am I gonna come back?
The young woman says she is terrified of having to deal with the smugglers when she's returned to Mexico.
This is hell. This is hell. I wanna go back.
So it's really, horrible for her being sent back to a country that she doesn't really know, So all her life she's been living in the United States. I really feel bad for her thing, but I still gotta go through with my job,
The young mother will be returned to Mexico and will not be able to legally return to the U.S. for up to 3 years. Outside, hundreds of people wait to cross the border.